7 behaviors that ruin a relationship. Having angry reactions to feedback instead of being open to it. Communication is key to a close relationship. However, when we establish a fantasy bond, we tend to become increasingly closed off to real dialogue, or a kind and compassionate way of exchanging impressions and ideas. Instead, we tend to be defensive and have angry or intimidating overreactions to feedback from our partner. We shut our partner down. Whether we punish our partner by emotionally breaking down, giving them the silent treatment, or screaming at them, we're telling them that we don't want to hear what they have to say. We may provoke additional emotional distance by saying things we know will sting our partner the most. Being closed to new experiences instead of open to new things. In every relationship, it's important to maintain a sense of ourselves as unique people. When we get involved with someone new, it should expand our world, not shrink it. When we first fall in love, we tend to be open to new things. However, when we start to engage in a fantasy bond, we tend to adopt roles and routines that limit us and close us down to new experiences. We may become more rigid and automatic in our responses. We should always be open to exploring things that expand our world and be careful not to limit our or our partner's experiences. Using deception and duplicity instead of honesty and integrity. Most of us know from experience that we can drive each other crazy when our words and actions fail to match. Unfortunately, deception and duplicity are common in relationships. There are a lot of mixed messages based on people saying one thing and doing another. Examples include saying "I really love you," but acting like you don't have any time to spend with your partner. Saying "I want to be close to you," and then constantly criticizing your partner when he or she is around. Saying "I'm not interested in other people," but flirting with everyone else at the bar. Overstepping boundaries instead of showing respect for them. In a fantasy bond, couples tend to overstep each other's boundaries and form a fused identity. They start to see themselves as we, instead of you and me. We like to go there. We don't want to go to that party. We like that kind of food. Many of us unintentionally lose track of where we leave off and our partner begins. Without noticing it, we may be intrusive or controlling toward our partner, acting in a manner that is disrespectful or demeaning to the other person's sense of self. When this happens, it not only hurts our partner and his or her feelings for us, but it undermines our strength and feelings for our partner. Showing a lack of affection, and inadequate, impersonal, or routine sexuality instead of physical affection and personal sexuality. In a fantasy bond, there is often a lack of personal relating and affection. The sexuality can start to feel inadequate and impersonal or become hardly existent. Some couples describe their sex lives as becoming mechanical or highly routinized. This takes much of the excitement out of their attraction. Obviously, there are real outside circumstances that can affect or change one's physical relationship. Misunderstanding instead of understanding. In a fantasy bond, we tend to see our partners for who we need them to be rather than who they are. We may distort them by idealizing or putting them on a pedestal. We may pick them apart, denigrating them by projecting negative qualities onto them. We may even see them as more critical, intrusive, or rejecting than they are because we grew up with people who had these qualities. Being manipulative, dominant, or submissive. Due to people's defenses and desire to protect themselves, it can be easy for couples to play games and be indirect about their wants and needs. They may engage in manipulative maneuvers to get what they want, such as trying to control a situation by crying and falling apart or blowing up and being intimidating. They may adopt roles that hurt or limit them in their relationship. We can avoid the traps of a fantasy bond and enjoy the raw and real adventure that is a loving relationship.